I'm going to show you how to turn your ordinary cardstock with a bit of embellishments into a wonderful piece of artwork, which are your dividers for the whole month. So I turned these cards and these punched out pieces into beautiful dividers, and I'll just give you a little bit of a preview. So here's what the finished product looks like. But before we get started, I always like to ask that if you haven't subscribed and you love videos like this, then please make sure that you subscribe by hitting the subscribe button below, and also make sure you give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to hit the notification button so that you'll be notified when more videos like this one come out. So I'm going to speed things up a bit, and then I'm going to show you the full planner. So sit tight. We're going to go through the making of the dividers, the routine cards, and also we're going to go through the weekly parts as well. So here we go. First, I took out this honeydew pad, and it has like 48 pages in it, but I've already went in and I've taken some pages out because I tried to do things ahead of time so that this won't be too long. Next, I went into my Cricut design space because I already have the designs for the templates made for these particular dividers. Now you can just very well go in and cut the dividers yourself by hand. You can use a regular paper cutter. You can draw out on a piece of cardboard one of your dimensions. Mine's are 4 by 6.75, and then you can just cut them out. So as you can see, it's just simple shapes. It's really nothing big, and you don't have to do it on any of your die cutting machines. But I like doing it on the die cutting machine because it comes out in perfect squares and it's really fast. So I'll have the Cricut Design Space templates on Patreon. So if you're a Patreon, you'll have access to this particular design cut. So I laid everything out because now I wanted to embellish them. I really was trying to kind of keep this whole process very simple. But of course, me being me, I tried to put everything but the kitchen sink onto my dividers. Now I had someone ask me, what is that black gun looking thing, that black and white gun looking thing that you're using? Well, that is a tape runner, and it's the Recollections brand, and it has double stick tape in it. So it has like a really big roll of tape in there so you don't run out really fast. And of course, Recollections is not the only one that makes the tape runner, so you can definitely use that in your projects, all of your projects, and not on anything just like this. So what I was just showing you is the tabs that I made. Now I have to say, these dividers, when I first started making them here, and the colors it got a little bit crazy for me, and I seriously thought about just doing this whole process over again, but I said, let me go to the end, because usually with craft paper, when you're using different designs, you really can't tell how things are going to come out until you're actually complete and finished. So I said, let me just go ahead, I'll finish this project and see how I'm going to like this. But at this point, I wasn't too happy with, my choices of papers, and I did realized I was just putting too much on. So I had to take some things off and put some things on, and I won't say that made the process a little bit longer. I just, at this point, like I said, I really was thinking about doing it over again. But I said, let me just go to the end. So what I did do is, for the tabs that I made, I started turning them over so the white part would show. And even when I did that, I really wasn't happy with that decision. I just didn't feel like I mixed the colors up very well. Now, keep in mind that everything came from the paper pad, even the Project Life looking cards. Those were cutaway cards that came from the paper pad as well. So everything, in theory, should have gone together as far as the colors went. But I think the mixing of the patterns, it was just visually a little bit too much for me. So that's why I turned the tabs over to the white part. But I have to say, again, you never know how things are going to come out until you get to the end. And so I just continued on putting things onto the paper. And so I hope with all these patterns, it's not like driving you crazy or sending you into any kind of fit. So I just continued to put the tabs on. You can see what I did was I would use the last divider and I will put it in front to make sure that I put the next tab on the divider in the correct space. So now I am just going through and I'm going to put my labels on. Now I did make the labels as well on my Cricut machine. I just did a full sheet of labels on sticker paper, and that way all I had to do was just pull it off. Again, you could do it on your typewriter, you could do it on your printer, you could also print your labels out on a label maker. So there's just several ways that you can do it. You just have to use whatever you have available, and that's what I did. So I did like the way the labels themselves came out, but I kept thinking, I just have to do something to fix this. I still wasn't very happy with the look of the overall dividers. So I pulled out my washi tape. I had some sitting on my desk that I've been using in my journal. And I found this blue one and I wasn't too sure about it. But I think it really was kind of the piece de resistance when it came to this. And so I decided to just use that washi tape on all of these. Now, something that I'm doing different that I haven't done in my other on my other dividers is that I decided I wasn't going to use another piece of cardstock on the back, and also I didn't want to laminate these, although I think lamination really gives it a very finished look. But I was kind of trying to keep this simple and very easy for those of you that are watching. And I just wasn't in the mood to just go too in depth, but it seems like I did it anyway. So I chomped those corners off, and you can see now the dividers, they're looking pretty good. I'm liking the look now, and I'm glad I continued to go ahead and use them this way. So I'm kind of a corner chomp kind of girl, and I really like how it looks. It gives it a finished look, and you don't have to worry about those pointy corners. So I pulled out my We Are Memory Keepers planner punch, and I do have a video for that. I'll have the link above for the We Are Memory Keepers planner punch. So if you don't know how to use yours or you're thinking about getting it, then you definitely want to check those videos out. So I had to pull out my other planner, the one that I'm currently using, and it actually has some numbers in it for me to punch the actual holes. So those are on the videos as well if you use the size of paper that I use. So I moved my punches to the other side, and I made sure I checked to make sure that they all fit before I continued on. So now I'm going to work on my routine cards, and I have a document I've actually posted on the Patreon channel as well. This document that has like my routines, but you can easily make your own routine cards as well. So it has things that I don't like reinventing the wheel basically. So I try to write things down, so if it's a repetitive thing that I'm doing, then I can actually just look at my list or my checklist, and that way I can kind of do things in order, or it just helps me not to forget things. So some things are pretty simple on here, like flossing your teeth and things like that, but I still like to have it on my list. So I actually added a few items to my routine cards for this month, and I think they're going to work out for me. Of course, I will definitely let you know if they work out. So you can see I just took out my paper cutter, and because, me and scissors, we don't really get along. And I cut out my routines off of that paper. And I saved that document, so again, I don't have to reinvent the wheel every month. It makes it very easy. I just, make any adjustments and print it out. So then I went ahead and I put the routine cards on their cardstock that they're going to live on. And At first, I didn't have enough cards, but I did have some extra larger cards, so I just cut those out. And I took my We Are Memory Keepers planner punch out again. And I will say that I didn't punch these correctly because I didn't use the dimensions that I had written down for my routine cards. I used a different hole punch numbers, and so they still worked out. They're hanging out just a little bit on the planner, not hanging out of the planner, but they're just a little bit up from the rest of the. It's not even basically, so you have to be careful. Like again, I had this written down and I didn't use what I had written down. So that's the power of having a planner, having things written down, and the routine cards. But everything worked out. So that was a little bit rambly, I know. So I wanted to do my dashboard. I'm going to put this nice floral print right in the front. So I wanted to make sure I punched the dashboard. And then the other two cards are going to go in the pocket of the actual planner. And you'll see that at the end. I know everything's going really fast, but I'm going to show you how everything looked at the end. So I've been asked also, where do I get my graph paper? I print it out from a website called Free Graph Paper. If you put free graph paper in Google, it's going to come right up, and I print the graph paper on the front and I print it on the back, and then I just cut the paper down to size and punch the holes, and voila, I have graph paper for my weeklies. So I am putting down a month at a glance. I like to have that in here, and I actually bought these note pages from Michael's. They were like 20 cents a piece for like the whole year, and I bought a whole bunch of them for some reason. You should be able to write on them, but the thing is, they are worth the whole 20 cents. I've said this before, because the adhesive was just crazy on these things. So I'm using my eraser to get rid of some of that extra adhesive, and I had to use my undo just to get the page off without ripping it up and tearing it up, but it came up pretty good and I like the way it looks. So now I am preparing the pages themselves, and I divide the pages using washi tape because Lord knows I have tons of washi tape, and I've always been looking for ways to use my washi tape, and this is a great use of your washi tape. Now I got this idea from Scrap Craftastic's YouTube site, and you can divide the pages up, and it's just like the inserts that you would purchase on Etsy. And so I really like this. Free is good, and I also get exactly what I need on these. So I'm actually doing the full month, so I just put 4 weeks in here, even though it probably should have been 5, but I really didn't start decorating until we were already into September here. So I just decided to do just 4 weeks. And I love the choices of the washi tape that I had. And what I tried to do is pick like a little bit of a fatter washi tape for the top and the bottom. And then I used some of the skinny washi tape to divide the middle out. So it gives me like 4 sections on each page, which is fantastic. So I went through all the weeks, and I love the colors that I picked out, and I really didn't think too much into it because, when you start thinking too much into things, it'll drive you crazy. So I just tried to kind of pick complementary colors that went together, and I really enjoyed this part of the process the most because I love using my washi tape. Do you use washi tape in your planners? Leave it in the comments. I would love to know. Some people do not like washis, but I really enjoy them because it's just a great way to decorate. I don't think I would plan if I didn't decorate in my planner. That is for sure. I can say that 100%. I don't like a very blank paper, and I've tried it and I just didn't enjoy it. So I always like to decorate my pages. So I'm putting the finishing touches on the washi tape, and now this washi tape right here was really fat, so I hope I have enough room to write when this week comes up. Now, the good thing about doing this ahead of time is when you start doing your weeklies every week, you don't have to take the time to put your washi tape down and some other items. There's things that you can do in advance. And so I took advantage of this when I actually did my dividers and my weeklies for this month. Now I had to go back and re-punch some of the holes because the washi tape kind of covered some of the holes, which is fine. So I used my Cheapo Depot hole punch that I got for like 99 cents, and I just fixed everything up. So now this is something different for me also, because I don't normally do this in advance, but I decided why not stamp the days and the date on here. At first I was just going to do the days, but then I decided that why not put the dates on here also. So I pulled out my stamps, and this stamp is from the Recollections brand. It's the Recollections planner stamp, and they are the clear stamps. And I will say, for me, I think maybe I'm pushing too hard on the stamps, and they come out just a little, looks kind of smushy, but I think it's just me because I still consider myself to be a baby stamper, but that's okay. I'm really enjoying the journey of learning how to use my stamps, and also and my planner journey, because things are always changing. If you look at some of my setups from the beginning of the year, and I have a list of the playlist for that down below, you'll see that my planning style has changed quite a bit. Some things are same, but it's kind of same but different. So now I'm pulling off some of the numbers because I decided to go back in and go ahead and put the numbers on here. And I like the look of that. Now also I used in the past some labels or stickers to do the dates, but I thought this was just going to be very easy, and I also decided just to do this in black. So I'm using an artsy pad, and it's archival ink, so it's permanent ink, and I'm just using black. And it's okay that it's not like kind of a stiff kind of color on there. I even thought that maybe I can go back in and color it in depending on the colors that I use for that week. So that's something that I'm considering doing, because I'm into coloring now, so I'm thinking about using my coloring pencils on this too, because that's just how I am. I'm all in when it comes to doing crafty type of things. So now I'm just laying everything out, and you can see I have some notepad. I have some notes that I'm going to put in, and those notes actually came from a notepad that I got from the dollar store, and I just cut it down and I punched the holes with my hole punch. I love putting extra paper into my planner doing this method. So now you can see I'm just kind of putting everything in to include the routine cards. And again, I know this is going fast, and I'm going to slow it down in a moment and show you everything that I'm putting in. I also added in some, it looks like craft paper, but it's actually Post-it notes as well. And I put those in each section. So what I tried to do was put some Post-it notes and also some note pages into each section. And that way, when I need paper, I can find it very easily within the section that I'm working in. So I wanted to add my pen in right now as well. So I'm just going to open this up, and there are going to be some more items that will be going in here, and you'll see that in the weekly setup, so just be on the lookout for that. If you haven't subscribed already and these are the types of videos that you like to see, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button and hit the notification button as well, so that you'll be notified when more videos like this one come out. Now, I would love to know, do you plan weekly, monthly? Do you do things ahead of time? Leave a comment down below. I would love to know. Now, I will say at first, again, I thought the dividers were going to be very ugly. I was very worried, but I kind of stuck with it, and I do love the way they came out. I mean, the little piece of washi tape just changed everything. And also, I was kind of worried that I didn't have like a back on the dividers, and it wasn't a big deal to me at all. Something else different that I did with this one is I didn't put dashboards in. So there's no dashboards. I really kind of saved paper and saved myself some time, and I really kept this simple. So you can see you don't need a lot to make the dividers, but you get a lot of bang for your buck when it comes from paper pads, and they go on sale quite often at the big box stores, and you can use coupons as well, and you just have tons of paper. So I've actually used this cardstock before, and I still had some left, and I wanted to use some more. And since we're going into the fall time, I wanted to kind of mute the colors down just a bit from the summertime colors, although I really enjoyed it. So I'm getting, I did add some additional dividers to this. I added work and cleaning, so I'm trying to up my game when it comes to my planning. So with that, I'm going to say love, peace, and hair grease from your sweet Lotus Blossom and lovable Lizzie. Have a fantabulous day and enjoy life.